I'm ready.
Okay, sounds good. Okay, so God, I am all over the place. Last week you did some stuff and it was pretty sweet, and now we're here. Blam weathered the storm in the arena with snow wrestling. It made me very, very happy indeed, and I enjoyed listening back to that. So thank you again for that, Blamathy. You navigated the various folk of Mirabar, Bungo, talking to the majority of people. Grace had let you know that she'd head on towards Archelon base camp. You gathered all your bits and pieces. You spoke to Klein Longcloak. You spent some time in the Temple of All Faiths. You gathered all the information you could. You gave your apologies to Klein that you couldn't see to the issue with the barges in the river right now. And you, after your wonderful spectacle in the snow wrestling pit, you began to make your way north. Otherwise uneventful until the evening, upon which Sandral found you a very secure cavern to take rest for the night inside. You drew up the wagons outside. The horses, I'd like to remind you, are inside, safe and sound. However, with the mountain drawing ever closer, Bungo decided it would be a good time to open up the forum to any other ideas from members of the group who thought they might have a good question for his deity Lyra. However, upon communing with Lyra, Bungo experienced a wave of lethargy and exhaustion that swept over him and threatened to overwhelm him. But with his halfling resilience and his own sense of joy and light, he pushed back against it and actually took the opportunity to try and help Lyra, along with help from his friend PJ. Upon doing this, he found himself in a darkened field, a place he'd seen many times before, with Lyra dancing and joyful, now seemingly asleep, slumbering in the darkened, empty field. Bungo, however, despite thinking it was just him and Lyra, was actually joined by his partner Atala, who had used her own powers to join Bungo where he was. She had some interesting revelations about the effects of, well, she doesn't quite know. But she found her way into the field and observed Bungo making some difficult decisions about what to do and how to spend his glowing light and sense of joy there. Bungo eventually decided on using the Hallow spell after finding that the area around Lyra was void of consecrated ground, and set about doing so, though the ritual spell itself will take 24 hours. Whether this matches up to time outside of Bungo's realm right now, we'll have to wait and see. But in the meantime, Grey, Sandral, and Blam were left with a seemingly unconscious Bungo, a deep in thought Atala crouched over him, cushioning his head, and decided that it was probably just some of that crazy god mumbo jumbo, and they just let them get on with it for the time being. They took watches, knowing that they were more vulnerable, with two of their party otherwise indisposed. And on the first watch, Grey, with his very, very sharp eyes, managed to spot a disturbance in the snow outside the cavern, slowly moving towards the opening. He took a shot with his trusty longbow, and it struck true, and from the pile of disturbed snow reared out a large serpentine beast with many arms. And that was where we found ourselves at the end of the session and the beginning of this session. So everyone who's conscious, that would be Grey, Sandral, and Blam. Sandral and Blam, for the sake of your tokens, if you want to drag yourselves out behind Grey up in the corner, you're a little bit further into the cavern, but just for the sake of being on the map. And roll initiative for me, please. Right.
Do you want me to roll initiative, Tom?
No, for the time being, I will be essentially asking you and Atala at the beginning of each round whether you are changing anything you're doing.
Okay.
And if you do so, we'll then roll initiative and get you in, but otherwise I think it's just adding to the time.
Makes sense.
I'm trying to remember, Atala's in pretty much the same state as Bungo. Like, they're both not unconscious per se, but they're not here with us. Neither of them.
Yes, Atala even got heavily splashed by water from Sandral's Everfull jug or whatever it's called, and she didn't seem to react at all. Bungo was the one who passed out, and then Atala kind of grabbed him, but she swiftly seemed to close her eyes and otherwise isn't reacting to you guys at all. Just need to roll for the creature. Can people hear the music? Just me?
Oh,
It's
yes.
really good.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
God.
great. You can turn it down on your end, Anya. Why can't I hear it?
Well, I wouldn't call it a battle theme per se.
Oh, we'll see.
Oh shit, it is 10 minutes long. Oh shit. Go to sleep, right? What race is Atala? She's a little one, isn't she?
She's a human.
Oh, she's a human. Oh, okay.
She's a Kalimsham human though, so she's only like 4'5", 4.5 foot tall.
Okay, so that's like pretty much the same height as the little people, right?
No,
Dwarven.
yeah, but halflings are like 3 foot.
Okay. That's what
But,
Bungo
yeah,
did.
about the same height as a dwarf though.
I think I got her at about 4 foot, maybe.
Yeah.
Something like that, anyway.
Hey, I finally got it working. Okay, at the top of the round, Sandral, you hear Grey calling out. Grey, do you remember what you called out as this occurred?
Something along the lines of we got a baddie. I can't remember precisely. It wouldn't have been anything too specific.
Nothing specific. We got a problem out here, kind of thing.
Yep.
Okay.
Cool.
I guess
Sandral, how do you react?
she'd run to cave entrance, however far away that is.
Probably 20, 25 feet tops.
Yeah. Can she see it?
Yeah, certainly she can see it. Out in the night, the moon is full, reflecting off the snow. You see this very large serpentine creature.
Would she know what it was?
You can do a nature check for me.
Ten.
Not specifically. You can see just from your initial analysis, it seems to have scales, a lot of the hallmarks of a serpentine creature. However, it has heavily muscled and seemingly fingered arms. There are hands and fingers. It's got a large head with small eyes. You think probably it doesn't rely too much on vision. A strong muscular body and whipping tail behind it. Sandral's pretty smart. I think she'd probably think it's quite odd to see like a serpentine creature up in the cold. But yeah, apart from that, you're not sure.
Okay. She'll leap over the carts.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, run up to
Fucking
it.
hell.
So she will. Oh god. Here we go again. She will attack it with her flame tongue rapier.
Very good. Please go ahead. You have to activate the flame tongue, do you?
Yeah, I guess. Which she would do.
Yeah, bonus action.
Bonus action, yeah. Forgot
Yep,
about that.
so you say the command word, the flames spring from the blade, and you strike forward. However, it seems to be resisted by the scales as your strike glances off to the side.
She'll use her second attack then.
Yep. That will definitely hit.
Yeah.
Oh, nice roll on the fire. So 6 piercing.
Doesn't have a bonus action. But she will make that. Oh, where is it? Let me just look at these bazillion things she has. No, that's a bonus action.
And you would certainly see as you struck it with the flaming blade, it has a strange reaction to the fire. The fire seems to scar it badly, but it doesn't recoil. It almost draws itself in closer towards the flame, as if it's wanting it.
She's going to make it the favoured foe as well.
Very cool.
For the first time of each of your turns, he hit. So is that from now on? The first...
It can be now. It's fine.
It's an extra 1.
Oh yeah, got it.
She will use her mobile.
Mm-hmm.
Also,
Yeah, like that.
Very cool. Taking yourself out of its reach and not provoking opportunity attacks.
Yeah. She's sort of calling after it, trying to, get its attention and bring it away from the cave.
You absolutely have its attention, and with your perception, you'd notice that it seems like the point of its attention seems to be fixed on your sword.
Oh shit.
Gray, you're up.
Well. Let's follow in her footsteps. I'm also going to go 5. Assuming it's not too much difficulty to get past these horses, up and over.
No. You guys put the carts together. The horses are actually inside the cave. It's just that it's one big token.
Gotcha, cool.
So you guys know how to move through it without it being difficult terrain.
Okay. I'm going to get to about here.
Mm-hmm.
And along the way, fire a shot at
Very
it.
cool.
Beep, bop, 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 bonk. Oof. 17?
17 does indeed hit. Seem
Sweet.
to find a soft spot in amongst the scales the arrow sinks in. So 11, no sneak attack.
Also do one of these.
Oh yeah!
Oh, 15.
Very nice.
Too shabby.
What type of damage is that?
It
radiant?
was, I think so.
Yeah, as this arrow hits,
Radiant, yep.
a sparkling of starlight and a kind of a flare of silvery light bursts from the front of the creature. It hisses. But
And then
its
if I,
attention stays on Sandrell.
last bit of movement, jump down here.
Very cool.
How high up was that? I'm assuming not too high.
Yeah, 10-15 feet for you. Not even a second thought.
Cool.
As you leap down nimbly and use the snow to break your fall. Okay.
Pretty much it, yeah. Yep.
Okay. Interesting. Well. First things first. As you jump down, Grey, and land and kind of dust yourself off and think whatever pleased thoughts you think to yourself after you dealt a decent blow to the creature further up. You land on the ground, bursting from the snow.
Thought so.
Creature.
Another one.
And it was a surprise to you. It's not going to get a surprise round or anything, but it will get advantage on its first attack. However,
Oh, man.
the one up here first with Sandral. It looks straight at your sword, at your blade, Sandral, and seems to the whole body seems to writhe forward, as if like summoning something from deep within itself, and from its throat bursts forth a torrent of icy wind. Could you make a con save for me, please? Sandral. Might have gone to make tea.
Oh, get me one.
Keeping this moving then, I'll go for the one on Grey. So it is going to make some attacks against you, and it is going to do it with advantage because of the surprise. Okay. So as it bursts forth from the snow, there is a flurry of movement as each of the claws, so 4 sets of claws come tearing down towards your body before it finally lunges in with its serpentine neck for a vicious bite.
Fucking hell.
Your AC is 19. Do you have any way to change that?
18.
18. Okay. So the first 2 strikes hit you for a total of 20 damage. 10 each. You want to do your dodge?
He said he's about to bite as well. Fuck it, save it for the bite. I got a bad feeling about that bite.
Yeah, that was a good call. 2 of the claws hit, 2 of the claws miss as you manage to weave yourself out of the way, but the bite does land, sinking teeth, icy teeth into your shoulder, and you feel a burst of cold energy there as you take from the bite 11 piercing and 5 cold damage. So with I've forgotten what it's called. It's been so long.
I do have the Boots of the Winterlands and Uncanny Dodge.
Oh, very nice. So Boots of the Winterlands give you resistant to cold?
Yes.
That brings it down
is
to
that,
2.
Is that half? Yeah.
So that would be half to 5, and that would actually be half to 1. So only 6 from the bite. Really nice
Altogether.
Mixture of resistances
Awesome.
and halving there. Very cool.
Ouch.
And then just got to wait for Sandral to return.
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, nice. Con save for me, please, as the one in front of you, eyes still fixed on your blade, has just let loose a huge breath of frigid wind.
15.
15 is not enough, I'm afraid.
Mhm.
So you and your blade, though the blade will resist it, take 45 cold damage.
Mm.
But that is its turn. It will move to be as close to you as possible, though. Which brings us to Blam.
Yep. Rightio, let's jump out. So I got distracted. I was leaning on my tablet and it went flying.
On your what?
On my tablet, it's got like a zoomy slider.
Oh, nice.
It was zooming anywhere.
It's all good. You see Sandral being accosted out front. She's been blasted with frigid wind. And as
I'm gonna-
you head outside, you'd also see Grey down here, seemingly locked in battle with this creature.
I'm going over here and chop at this guy
Nice.
in a rage. Yeah.
Ah, the rage! Yeah. So you feel that nullification of any harm or cold or anything coming at you as the whale skin spectral forms over yours. Rage. Yeah, go ahead. Are we recklessing? Are we normaling?
Just normal, but I'm just wondering which of my axes to use.
Oh, yeah.
Ah.
Up to you. You remember what Verenia said to you as well?
I don't remember.
She said about getting the head of something big to bring back to Mirabar.
Oh, she did say that. Yeah. I better use my new axe as it's, fun times now.
Very cool.
Oh,
Shot.
would that have been
Uh,
because of
yeah, that will not hit the first one. Still getting used to this big axe.
I'll try
Swing
again.
round. For a second strike, which definitely does hit. Go ahead and roll damage. Plus your rage is 15. Damage, nice. Yeah, you take a hefty chunk out of the back of this thing. It arches its back in pain, but it keeps its focus on Sandral. Cool. Top of the round. Good barrels. Are we doing anything? Are we sticking out? Bungo, you don't know anything's happening. Atala, though, you do hear the sounds. You heard Grey call out.
Still in
You'd
the
have
dream.
certainly heard the bellowing roar.
Would I take it? I don't hear anything.
Bungo, you hear nothing at all.
Yeah.
You're just happily going about your ritual work.
Yeah, carry on then.
I think I remember Atala, she was just sort of sitting there and just watching anyway, right? So maybe she'd come out?
Yeah, it's up to you.
Yeah.
You seem to be able to get glimpses of hearing of what's going on out in the outside world. It's up to you whether you try and return.
What did Grace say, Stefan?
It would have just been something non-specific, just that there was trouble. We got trouble or something.
Okay, trouble's good enough. I think you should come out.
Absolutely fine. If you want to roll initiative, please.
Yeah. Oh,
Very nice.
forgot to click on my thing though.
Oh yeah, drag yourself into the cave.
Eh.
I'll say you're about 20 feet inside.
Yeah.
But 14. 2 is fine. Drag so I can do the thing. 14. Which puts you. Ooh, let's check actually if you're front or behind. Oh, roll a d20 for me, Atala, please.
Ooh,
As you have exactly the same dexterity as these creatures.
middle of the road.
Do this to the GM so everyone can see.
Duh.
So they'll just be ahead of you. Cool, but you are in the cave. Sandral, you're going first.
It's pretty cold.
Pretty cold.
Yeah, she's gonna keep. Oh wait, is that? Okay. Yeah, she's gonna attack it.
Go ahead and roll that attack.
Wreck it.
Oh, yeah, definitely hits. 8. Nice. Another strong hit. Again, the fire scarring across its body. Though you would notice as you strike it with the flame once more, this time, where it had seemed to give out all that cold breath and had seemed kind of used up afterwards, the flame, as it strikes the body, almost like curls into and around the scales and turns to a sharp light shade of blue, and the beast seems to well up with that energy once more.
What?
So wait and see what that means.
She's gonna attack it again.
Yep. You definitely hits.
And
Very nice.
she's gonna.
Shouldn't you have D4s on this? Or one of them? For the favoured
Yeah,
foe?
I think so.
I should have marked it for you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, she'll disengage.
Very
with
nice.
the, and she'll run over here, and she'll use her bonus action to drink a potion of resist cold.
How is she? Oh, because she's got mobile. Yep.
Yeah,
Yep. Very nice. Yep. You chug the potion back.
cold resistance. That's
Yep. It has this like tingling cold sensation as it goes down your gullet.
Dr. Pepper.
Gray, you're up.
He is, isn't he? Alright. Let's get out sword, dagger.
Definitely switch from one to the other.
Start with one of these.
24 definitely hits. No snook.
Follows it up with a dripping dagger. Aw, come on.
No.
Nice. Oh, 13, sorry.
Yeah.
You just see so many dice on the screen, it's like, oh, it must be good. Yeah, 13 does not hit, I'm afraid.
I don't think so. Alright. Let's go.
Yeah, when I uploaded this music, I remembered it being a lot more battling.
Whoop.
Let's switch it out. Okay, creatures.
Yeah, I don't think. Well, yeah, I'll quickly bonus dash.
You used your bonus to hit the guy.
Oh yeah, that's the thing, isn't it?
You're a rogue, Harry.
2-weapon fight. That's the
This one quickly, even on in its large form, the hands are dexterous as it moves through the snow. It's going to get to here, and it's going to use its cold breath. Could both Blam and Grey make a con save for me, please?
not Dex.
Not Dex, my friend.
Damn it!
Oh, crit. Nice! You both pass, and Grey, you can use Uncanny Dodge because it works on everything.
You said it was cold breath, so it's already. I'm gonna have some resistance.
That's very true. And you
Do I?
make...
Do I have to claim uncanny before the damage? Do I know the damage?
I think so. Let me check.
When attacking hits you, you can use your
Oh, does anyone get hit?
best when you get hit.
Oh, it hits you with an attack, so you can't use it on this. Oh, that's good to know. So you can't use it.
No.
But you're probably gonna be fine. So both of you have resistance to this, and both of you passed. So 46 goes down to 23, which then goes down to 11. So you both take 11 cold damage. It's used its ability. This one has felt Sandral's sword, so it's just gonna go after Sandral. Doesn't need to leave its spot, it's just gonna use its breath once more. So con save for me, please, Sandral. It turns and blasts.
Can we tell just from seeing it, like what the range is?
Oh yeah, it's a huge blast of freezing winds. Looks to be a 60-foot cone.
Pardon?
You heard me, boy. 60 foot.
You know.
An 11 does not pass, but you do have resistance from your potion, so you take 20 damage.
Yeah.
See as well. Very nice. That brings us to Atala.
Get to the entrance at 30 feet.
20 feet from inside, so you still got 10 left. If you got 30.
Okay. We'll stay here.
Nope.
I forget these things aren't just big; they're huge.
Yep.
Yeah. far apart still. We're gonna. The only thing is, I don't really want to lure them over here by attacking them.
Mm-hmm.
Don't really want to lure them to me at all, really.
I think that's fair. Yep.
How's Atala in terms of support role?
I mean, good, but not so much great in combat. She's alright in combat. Let's do black tentacles and hope it works, eh?
Ooh, awesome. What do I need to do?
You need to do. Let me just make sure it's in range first. Yep. Let's do. So it goes in a box of 20-foot box.
Mm-hmm.
And it is a Dex save, or be restrained and take damage.
Amazing. And you just want it to be like around this creature, yeah? 20-foot box like that?
Yeah, I think so.
Dex save. It is not great at those. 12.
Fail.
Nice.
Yeah. And so you're going to take some damage. Let me just see when that is. First time. So it says take damage and be restrained. So I assume it takes it now and also if it stays in it, right?
Yeah, I think it says when it starts its turn there, but we'll just use that roll for when it starts its turn there. That's absolutely fine.
Okay.
And then on subsequent turns, if it's already restrained, it takes bludgeoning damage as it goes along. But yeah, because it failed, it will take that initial 3d6 and be restrained. Yeah. But it's at the start of its turn.
Yeah, okay. I'll roll it on its turn then.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Sweet. What does everyone see? They see this writhing mass of tentacles?
Yeah, I think so. I think so.
Cool.
Maybe. I'll think about it.
Yeah, please do. Blamathy.
Yeah. I'll keep hacking away at this guy then.
Yeah. Karate
Karate
chop
chop action.
Oh.
Not
No.
good. Let's try again.
Telling you to go reckless. Ooh, that does definitely hit. 22. Roll your damage. Oh, +3 as well. 20 damage. Jesus. Yeah, this thing's starting to look real carved up now. Big cuts across its body. You see a thick, dark ooze, blood leaking out.
Christ.
Is that everything?
Yep.
Cool. Top of the round, Bungo's in his dream world, just doing a happy little ritual. So, Sandral.
Can Sandra climb down here?
Absolutely. It's about a 10-foot drop. You can just jump down because it's snow.
Yeah. I think that's in 55 overall.
Cool.
And then she'll put her sword away.
Mm-hmm.
And instead she'll get out her bow. Where is it? Her longbow, which has magical arrows.
Great. Anyone will definitely hit.
Yeah, they're +1 arrows, so
22.
so
12
12.
damage. Nice. Yeah, the arrow sinks in, center mass.
Great, that's something she can do. Blah, blah, blah.
That was on the one still up here, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where is it?
Is this a path or a river?
Sorry? Here?
Yeah.
Path that you guys were traveling on.
Path. Okay, cool.
Oh, yep. That should be.
I'm just trying to find the thing that she can do with a bow.
Mm-hmm.
Kenzai shot.
Sounds cool.
She
So
do
she
trick
can add
shots.
another D4 as the
Oh.
Kenzai shot as her bonus action.
Oh yeah.
And then she'll do another attack.
Arrow flies through. It's like the cold night.
Don't think that hits.
16 just doesn't hit, I'm afraid, glancing off the scales.
Okay. Yeah, she's waiting up there, hoping it goes down soon.
Very cool. Great.
Oh boy. All right. Can I see whether or not these tentacles are effective in what they're doing?
Yeah, they have reached up and they've like restraining and grabbing at the arms of the creature, and it hasn't been able to dodge them.
Okay.
It doesn't count as restrained yet.
I was gonna say I get confused. Which one's the one where they can't move? Is that restrained?
It won't be able to move on its turn yet.
Then there's grappled, but grappled.
Grappled is 0 movement, but restrained gives you advantage on attacks against it, and it has disadvantage on attacks. So, real good.
Okay, that's cool. So for now, let's just go ahead. I'm going to go over to here,
Mm-hmm.
steal my sword and dagger out.
Mm-hmm.
Do I have advantage here? Or do I need to move around or whatever?
We're not doing advantage flanking, it gets -2 AC. But you will have sneak attack because there's a friend within 5 feet of it.
Yes, yes. So yeah, okay, advantage.
Sorry?
So the advantage will just lower its AC.
Yeah, we're not playing flanking gives you advantage, we're playing flanking gives the enemy -2 AC, kind of like the opposite
Yeah.
of cover. And if you flank it from all 4 sides, it gets -5 AC.
Oh shit, that sounds
Yeah.
cool.
I really like the rule so far, and it makes abilities that give you advantage feel a lot more special, rather than just always being like, flanking, flanking.
Sure, yeah.
20 definitely hits, and you do get sneak attack damage, so that's 24. Oh god, yep. This thing is crying out now, looking desperate. No longer looking at Sandral.
Let's see what this.
Definitely hits.
Only 1 poison.
6. Yep, very nice. At the end of your turn, or are you moving out?
I think I will. But where do I want to? I think. So where was I? I was there. 5. Go back. Right, go on, Blam. You finish him.
So on their turns, roll a d6 for each of them. Top one. Oh, bottom one.
Oh shit.
Annoying that went that way round, but there we go. So top one does actually recharge its breath. It's not smart. This one, Atalo, if you want to roll your 3d6 bludgeoning damage, it is restrained.
Decided what they're gonna look like. So instead of tentacles, it's like, you know, the ribbons you get in books. They all come up from the ground and
Oh,
try to-
yeah! Wrapping around, like lots of
Yeah.
different colours, or all the same
Oh
colour?
yeah, lots of
Oh.
rainbow colours.
That's so cool. Yep. You
Okay.
can just see it pulling this thing back to the ground. But yeah, 3d6 please, bludgeoning.
Yep. It's supposedly rolled.
Oh, yep, very nice. 9 damage. Cool. Okay, one up here. Yeah, it's desperate. It's gonna blast. It recharges one last time, most likely. And it's gonna blast its breath out across all 3 of you. The horses aren't out there; they're safe inside the cave. But could Blam, Grey, and Atala all make con saves for me, please?
What? Could be bad.
Don't you get advantage on that or something?
Me?
I can't
No.
remember something to your character sheet.
No, I did have it, but then I changed it for Sam.
Oh, okay. Should have kept it.
Yeah.
So
It was only on concentration.
13's a fails, 25's a pass. So Blam, because you've got your rage up as well, you take only maths 12 damage. Grey, you failed, but you do have resistance, so you take 24 damage.
Owie.
Atala, no resistance and a fail, you take 49 cold damage.
Oh man. He's down.
Afraid so.
Fuck.
Blasted out. Which does drop concentration.
Fuck.
Giving free reign to this thing, which is going to step up. It's not intelligent enough to know to not fight Blam Wolf or no, so it is going to make its attacks towards you, Blam. 1, 2. And a bite. Hits twice with its claws. I'll halve these for you, so 9 damage total from the claws. It crit once with its claws. We are maximizing the crit, but it did it for me. And it rolled a 1 on the second one, so only 6 damage from that crit. And then the bite misses, and the other claws misses as well. This one, having done its breath, is going to try and scrabble away though from this horrible thing that's beating him up. So Blam, you get a attack of opportunity.
Yes.
Go ahead.
It wasn't very good.
It was not very good, sadly. So it will move 5. 50, 20. And it's gonna burrow down into the snow. Yeah. Cool. So you see it slide its body, flattening against the ground and going down to the snow. You do see, it's a huge creature, so you do see on the surface of the snow this movement of the snow. Currently, I'll mark it on the map for you. Here. Okay. Atala. Death saving throw for me, please.
Mm-hmm.
Let's not do anything silly now. Okay. 1 failure. Blamathy.
What?
It's your turn. Huh?
Well, I'll axe it.
Yeah.
Do I have disadvantage because of my 1?
Oh no, we're not doing that.
Oh, okay, cool. I wasn't sure.
No, thank you. Oh, yep, 26 definitely hits. Plus 3 is 12. Nice. 21 hits.
Yay!
Plus 3 is 15. Nice, yeah. 2 big chunks you carve. It's like an X shape on its chest. Chop, chop. Very good. Sandrao.
Yeah, Sandra's gonna try and shoot this thing down.
Cool. Will not hit. Nor will that. Sandrao is somewhat shaken. Anything bonus action?
I'm just trying to decide if I want to move. Yeah, she'll drop down here,
Mm-hmm.
and she'll use her boots to just jump up that cliff.
Very cool. Yeah, you leap up, bouncing off the snow beneath you.
Get to there. She's gonna use a key point to use a bonus action to dodge.
Very nice. Patient defense. You ready yourself should anything come at you. Great.
Oh boy. Alright, so if I remember right. Yeah, cool. Okay. Let's go in quickly. Am I in range here? There's not like a rock in the way or whatever.
No, you're good.
Cool. So I'm gonna do one attack.
Okay.
Just my sword.
Mm-hmm.
Bonk.
29. Yeah, definitely hits. With the sneak attack as well. That's 3 1s in that sneak attack. 23 damage. Nice. Yep, fully effective. Stabs into the creature.
And then quickly run on it. Screaming, Talon! And with his quick hands,
Oh, yes.
pop a bottle.
Yep.
Oh,
Thief so good.
wow. Oh. Ah. Right, let's go with the potion of greater healing.
Amazing.
Blop, 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 blop.
4, 3, 2, 1. Very nice. 14 HP to you, Atala.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. Kind of gives her a pat on the shoulder and just says, try and be more careful, yeah?
Yeah, she's gonna stand up.
Wait. Sorry.
Thank you, Gray. I think I'm gonna go back inside.
I think 5.
Are we doing injury checks in this one? I can't remember.
No. Ooh, crap.
Okay.
So 15 feet, Atala goes back inside, but not before doing the same thing on this thing.
Tentacles.
Get those ribbons back up.
Very cool.
Yeah, 15 foot inside, round the corner.
Just gonna sit here and concentrate on my spell. I'm not going out there again. Very cool. Absolutely. I'll make its check. Oh wait, yeah, because it's because you guys can't see. You know what? Let's just make this easier. Oh. Actually, no, I'm going to do it properly. It is the lizard's turn first. However, this one isn't going to move, so it's not going to change what you're doing at all. And it didn't get its breath back, so I'll just make its attacks against Blam.
Oh!
3, 4 claw attacks.
You had a big guy.
1 bite attack. They do all hit. Great.
Uh-oh.
Oh!
I'll halve it all for you. I'll just give you a total, actually. That'll make it easier. God. Brain. 25 damage in total. As 4 sets of claws rake across your body and it bites down into your arm. But that is all of its attacks. And what? Tell me your passive perceptions, Grey, Blam, and Sandral.
19.
17.
10.
Oh yeah. So Grey and Sandral, you definitely see the snow moving further off. Up that way. And then on Atala's go, she does the ribbons. Blam, back to you.
Time for my revenge.
Oh yeah.
How's it looking? Is it okay?
It's not looking too bad. You guys focus fired the other one. This one's largely... Well, it's taken some hits.
Hmm. Hmm. Well, I'll just keep axing it.
Yeah. Definitely hits. Very nice. Definitely hits. 11. Nice, yeah. Just a steady stream of damage. Chop, 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 chop.
Yeah.
Nice. Sandral.
Yes.
Yes.
Up there. Just gonna shoot it.
Very good, yeah. Clear line of sight. Oh yes, that hits.
Thank you.
That does not. First one definitely hits though. 8 damage.
We'll use a bonus. Yeah,
You've
bonus
done-
action for one more.
Consistently one. Yep, very nice. Great. Great.
Sorry.
Okay.
Now. So yeah, I think Blam's pretty crazy. So, but I see this thing like turning away and start going away from us.
The snow, yeah.
Yeah, let's try and. Does the snow count as like cover at all, or am I
Does.
pretty much? It does.
Yeah. When you shot it, when you first spotted it, you got a good shot in. It had 3/4 cover.
Mhm.
Same with this one. Got to roll well.
Have I used that today? Remember.
You haven't been in battle this day, if there's something battle-wise.
Suppose I know I've used Hefflam's Filp.
I don't think so.
Last time I used it was some stupid conversation. It's in the tavern, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. There you go. All right, let's try it. Take a shot, and we'll see what happens.
Have you moved yet?
Yeah, I just shimmied like from here.
Oh, okay. I was going to
That's
say you
it.
could do the rogue thing, the steady aim. If you didn't move.
Steady aim.
Yeah, they added it in Tasha's, I think. So if you don't move on your turn as a rogue, you can spend your bonus action to give yourself advantage in your attack.
Do I have that?
You probably
Yeah.
haven't, you probably haven't updated your character sheet to the Tasha's stuff, but
I would certainly
Should be
count
not.
you as having it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I mean, yeah. If that's a thing I can do,
Yeah,
I would have
100%.
figured I could do that.
I really like it. It's a very thematic rogue thing.
Okay, let's try that then.
Advantage.
Is that as in? Can you do the attack then move
no, it reduces
No.
your speed to 0 for the
You-
rest of the turn.
for the rest of the turn? Okay. That's cool. I like that. That sounds cool.
Yeah, I really like it.
Boosh.
I'll definitely hit with a 25, even with full cover, for a total of... Ooh, that was a good sneak attack. Yeah, and with that, you see your breath misting out in front of you as you sight down the arrow. Loose, flies true, and you hear a last squealing hiss, and the pile of snow goes dormant.
Does it then sort of become a nice big thick shade of red?
Oh yes, without a doubt. Very dark shade of red. Very nice.
That's
That
cool.
leaves-
Very quickly, how can I update my sheet? How is that?
If you go into the
Or is it
edit,
complicated?
if you click on your name at the top and then go manage character and levels.
Yep.
And then go to home. And then enable optional class features. And then once you've
Yep.
done that, go to class at the top and then go optional feature manager.
Yep.
And then it should be on there.
Steady aim. Cool. Awesome. Thank you very much.
That's right.
Ooh, never looked at.
Another flurry of attacks comes in at you, Blam. This time 3 claws and a bite hit.
Ah,
I will harbour all for you. It did not roll well on its damage dice. Wow. Yeah, only 16 damage from all those attacks hitting you.
dang, that's good.
Your whale skin standing up to the attack. Oh, wait!
Did it fit? Oh,
Thank you. Yeah, you were just about to remind me.
What's this?
15, Natala?
fails.
Fails, so I need to undo that damage for now, Blam, if you've put it on.
I haven't even bothered.
Very nice. That's because you knew. 16, nice. So yeah, you see this thing wrapped up by the ribbons, restrained.
Ooh.
16 damage. Would it make the attacks? It's a creature. No, I think it would just try and get out of the restrained, is it? I assume it's the normal use an action to get out.
Yeah.
Or try to, rather.
It can use this action to make a strength or dex check. And must save with the DC still.
Definitely
Let's
strength.
Use it down. Yeah.
Does, no. 13 do it.
No.
No. Very nice. It remains restrained. Excellent.
Yeah.
It is your turn. Happy
No.
staying inside?
I'm staying inside. I'm gonna go make sure the bongo is also not in the line of fire.
Very good.
I
Yeah, he
expect
is.
Sandral to have learned that behaviour from Elodius.
Yeah. Yep, Bungo is seemingly the same, tucked off to the side.
Nice.
Blam. This thing is being held in place. You automatically get advantage on your attacks.
Yeah, let's chop his head off.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
25 definitely hits. 15. Nice.
No, well, it's going to be a critical, but that's fine.
Another attack.
There you
There it is. He did the
Come and do it.
bowling thing.
Yeah, you
He said it was
did.
gonna happen, and then it happened. Amazing. So the first one is maximized. That's another 4. 17 plus 11 is 28. Plus 2 is 30. Plus the 3 from your rage is 33.
Can I re-roll that too? Like, apparently that's a thing I can do.
Is it a thing you can do?
Yeah, once per turn when I roll damage for my melee weapon attack, I can re-roll the weapon's damage dice.
Oh hell yeah. Yeah, reroll the 2.
Ooh. Is that the whole thing or just the 2?
I'm gonna say it's just the 2.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Another 5. So that makes it easier. That's. God, I lost count. 17, 28, 35, 38 damage. Ooh.
And you get an extra attack because you got great.
Oh yeah, you do.
Yes.
At advantage.
He's gonna crit again.
Oh my god. Remember, you got Great Weapon Master if you ever want to use it.
I might do actually. In fact, you know what? I think I will. How do I work that? I can't even remember.
You can just roll normally and we'll take 5 away from the hit roll.
Okay, cool.
Plus 10 to damage. 18 does hit. Better roll damage.
Plus 10, plus 3.
Oh, with the +3.
Hmm.
Technically not exact. 1 HP overkill.
Over.
we have-
Yay!
You finish off this creature, Blam, with these strong blows.
Yeah, I'm just imagining hacking off his head like it's a tree, and I'm just like chop, chop, chop.
The unerring lumberjack just doosh, doosh, doosh. The creature screeching out as its head is lopped off and lands in the snow next to its body, thoroughly dead. That you have successfully killed these creatures. Damn, nicely done.
Phew.
A little bit dicey at some points there.
No, it wasn't.
Well, just came out of his cave and was like, "What needs chopping?" Just chopped everything down. Cool. Is there anything anyone would like to do?
Hmm.
You're very glad that he spotted those and they didn't just corner us in the cave.
Oh
Yeah.
yes, that was an option.
Yeah. Gray will just make sure Tyler's alright.
Yeah, she'll
think
be
he'll probably-
grateful.
He'll probably just stay outside for a bit. If anything, finish his shift just to make sure there aren't any more
Mhm.
bastards.
Sandra will be like, I've already used a potion. I could watch over. It's not going to get cold for me with this for the next hour. So maybe you all go back inside and I'll keep watch here.
Blam's gonna pick up this head and try and look after it.
Yeah, you're putting it in the extra size bag of holding that Verenia gave you.
Yes. How many heads can I fit in there?
I was gonna say!
There's only one way to find out. Start shoving heads in.
Yeah, we'll see.
But yeah, this one goes in a treat. The serpentine jaws. You look deep into its cold serpentine eyes and see the fear of Blam Wolfhorn that entranced its final moments.
Did we ever figure out what the effect was of when... What was it you described as the flaming sword? And it... How did you describe it? Like the flames went inside of it or something?
Yeah, it looked like that. Dantral got
No.
the clearest look of it. They seem to turn
Nothing-
blue and then get sucked in through the scales.
And nothing else came of that.
I
That we
mean,
could tell.
you'd have noticed that after Sandral stopped using the flaming sword, the frequent use of their frigid breath seemed to stop.
Hmm.
Because you had a barrage of it, didn't you? Where it was basically like 3 turns on the trot of the breath
Yes.
from that one.
Hmm.
Okay. Just ignore everyone.
Yeah, Tyler's gonna come over to Gray. She's like, thank you back there. I guess I'm not the best at combat just yet.
It's fine. You'll get the hang of it. How are you doing? How's Bungo?
Well, I went. It's hard to describe, but I went into his dream as such. He seems fine. There's something seems to have happened with Lyra, so he's casting something ritually in there. It could take a while.
I see. So it could be a matter of waiting it out then, I suppose.
It could be. It seemed important, so I don't think it's best to try and wake him up.
As long as he's not in trouble. Could have given us a warning.
I don't think he had a warning himself, to be fair. I'm glad you're all okay, though. At least you noticed these things, Gray. I assume it was your keen eyes.
Yeah. Takes a sneaky one to know a sneaky one.
Mind if I have a look?
Help yourself.
Yeah, Tala just wants to have a little look at, see what she knows what it is and stuff like that.
Blam shows her the head in the bag.
Yeah.
To cut through that hide.
Yeah, between the head and the body itself, you discern certainly this strange mix of serpentine features, like married alongside more muscular, almost like mammalian features. These strong-looking arms, but clawed at the end, scaled all along. Their bodies are very cold to the touch, and even where blood has seeped out, the blood is thickened and oozing. It's very cold to the touch as well. Make a nature check for me, please, Atala. With advantage, I'll say. Street shot. 18. Yeah, you take a few moments, but your studious mind begins to discern certain features about it. You can see, particularly because Blam lopped the head off, that within the throat of the creature seems to be this large organ where you assume the cold that knocked you out must be emanated from. You see that it's built with its large claws and its very streamlined form. It seems to have the ability to burrow very quickly through snow and perhaps through ground as well. The teeth, it looks like a predator, and from its... I don't know if Atala was out just then, but assuming you're not keeping information from each other, alongside the fact that it seemed to chase after Sandrel's sword, and what Grey and Sandrel and Blam saw, with the fire being sucked inside, it seemed to almost be like it's hunting warmth or hunting fire.
Okay. Do I have any idea what it might be called, or if it's common to the area? From reading that guy's book that I can't remember the guy's name.
Interestingly, the guy's book has given you good ideas about what to expect in the area, and these things weren't in the book at all.
Oh.
Oh boy.
Yeah, so she would probably relay that to everybody. Like, not expected to see these things from what she's read anyway. Would she know where she might see these things? Or does she not know what they are at all? Just sort of how their body works?
Make a straight intelligence check for me now, please. 13. With a 13, it is curious. I'd say with a 13, and upon like continual examination of these creatures, they don't seem and don't feel like something you'd expect in an like an ecosystem like this. So you think, with a 13, I'd just say, you're not sure where they might have come from, but they've definitely come from elsewhere. Whether that means other parts of the country, countries, like where the areas you're in, the region, further north, or whether that means from other places altogether, is yet to be seen.
Well, they certainly don't suit snow. Not much of a camouflage, being the colour they are. They were not in that book that I've been reading. I don't know where these things came from. Quite curious.
How about you, Sandro? You've been known to read stuff about like this?
About them?
Well, monsters and beasties in general, huh?
She failed the save right, Tom, so she wouldn't know.
Yeah, she doesn't. She doesn't recognize these things. I think she'd probably be nodding along with the conclusions that Atala's coming to.
Would she think because they're snake-like, they're from a desert or something?
Yeah, but then the weirdness of like the cold, like hunting heat. It's possible. It's definitely possible. The fact that they could generate cold breath would seem strange for a desert setting.
Do they seem like beasts or anything that could they be extra planar or something?
Ah,
Would
very
she-
good.
Would she have any idea of that?
Well, I think from the fact that you have, and Sandra's a smart girl, and I can imagine where I don't know. I think perhaps because Sandra's sort of younger, I imagine Sandra having quite a lot of wanderlust and reading about all sorts of different things. Yeah, I think she'd get the inkling that these things might be elemental in nature.
She's like, they're not. She's got a stick and she's like prodding its corpse, and she's like, these aren't beasts. These are some sort of elemental. They're probably extra planar.
That's what I thought.
She like prods it more with a stick.
Yeah, Tola's nodding along. She wants to have a look at the little, elementally sacky thing a bit more, but it's mostly just looking at it.
Okay. Yeah. You look at it. It's this strange, almost bladder-like organ. That seemed to be encrusted with ice crystals on the inside. You think if you wanted to remove it or carry it around, it might prove some use, though it is organic in nature. These, with the newfound idea that these things might be elemental, you think perhaps it might not obey the normal rules of rot setting in and such.
Are there any of... Well, I guess you're all powerful people, but is there anyone who's particularly magical who might be hunting one of you? Or Bungo?
I wouldn't imagine so. We're quite simple, folk wandering the world. That's, not really making any enemies that I know of.
Well, they did stop Bologna, but this doesn't sound like anything you came across before.
I think any enemies we did make, we stopped a long time ago.
Maybe just by coming on this journey, we've made more enemies that we're not aware of yet.
Perhaps. Bungo never mentioned anything about these either, or anything like them. But you could very well be right, Sandra. Perhaps on this journey so far.
I guess the best hunter isn't seen.
She looks so great.
Gives you a nod, Merrick.
Well, I had chili. I'm gonna go back inside and check on Bungo.
Yeah, I go to bed.
Sandra's gonna wait outside and keep watch until the potion wears off.
Okay. And you do. The rest of you head back inside. Atala, do you once more meet minds with Bungo?
I think she would, but not till later on, just to sort of check the progress. Like, if she can go back in.
Well, as you attempt to do so, without the guidance of PJ, you find yourself in a similar feeling to before, almost floating, moving in a darkness. You feel, as you're doing this, heat emanating from a point to your side, in the bag where you keep the cube.
PJ's not there, right?
PJ is nowhere to be seen.
Just gonna pull it out.
Okay. As you pull out the cube, you see that in this dreamscape, it is in fact not a cube at all. What you pull out from your bag is a perfect sphere. However, as you turn it in your hand, you see that familiar crack that was on the cube itself, emanating from where you'd held it in your palm up to the side. Across the sphere itself is a repeating pattern, that of the symbol of Lyra, the triple stars together. They're all glowing and there's a golden sort of thrumming hue to it. And as you're holding it, you can feel it almost tugging you forward. Do you allow it to do so?
Yes.
Okay.
Reluctantly.
As it tugs you forward and kind of guides your motion, it's not long before your floating movement through this strange dark space comes to an end, and you find yourself once more in the dark field with Bungo attending to his ritual around the body of Lyra. As you enter the field, the runes, the sigils of Lyra on the sphere glow brighter and brighter. What do you do?
So it's tugging towards the circle that she's in, right?
And now that you're in the field, there is no sense of pull from it. It
Okay.
seems like it was bringing you to this place once more.
It's a sphere now, so
About the same size. Again, that smooth stone surface. Very similar to the cube, but this time spherical. And there's no sign of the symbol of Bahamut that had been present on it before. Just a repeating symbol of Lyra.
should we go and hold it up close to Bungo, see if it does anything?
Yeah, with Bungo going about his work, you kind of track him as you move up. And the symbols glow brighter and brighter and brighter. And in fact, as you see on the sphere itself, the patterns, more of the symbols of Lyra begin to emerge, such that the patterns are overlapping with each other and soon lose any sense of individual shape. And there's just this constant confusing overlay of lines and lines and lines. And as you're getting closer, it begins to look more and more like a cracked surface.
Cracked surface, eh?
Mm-hmm.
So is Lyra still in the middle of this ritual?
Bungo seems to be going about his work, yeah.
I can't look at my own eyeballs. I don't have a mirror anymore.
Indeed.
Can I feel if I am blinking? Because I didn't have eyelids before, right?
Yeah, no, that's a fair question. You have not noticed yourself blinking as you think back?
And how much would Atala know about reptile gods?
You tell me? Would she have an interest in researching reptilian gods?
It wouldn't be our main interest, I don't think. But being around a religious man, I think she'd know a little bit of like most, well, not most maybe, but the most common at least.
Yeah. Time to do some googling.
You stumped him.
No lizard gods jump to mind that Atala would be aware of. There's the creepy demon one that I think Kieran used at some point.
I seem to have forgotten.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd say Atala, because I imagine Atala finding like being well read and finding different cultures and such interesting. I think perhaps she might have heard of the Yuan Ti.
Lovely. Interesting. What do I know about the Yuan Ti? I don't know nothing.
That they are a very different culture to what you'd usually find on the Sword Coast. They have a culture built around worship. You probably would have read of it being demonic, worshipping certain demons, that there was bodily sacrifice involved, that the idea of mutation and being overtaken by mutation and becoming more serpent-like in your body was seen as a great blessing from different deities. That they were not friendly towards outsiders. Quite a powerful culture, often island-based.
I've got one.
Yeah?
Kieran made a whole quest surrounding him, but you all died before you got to do it.
Nice. So yeah, I think probably that would jump to mind in terms of serpent.
Yeah. I don't think any of that sounds like she's going to associate that with herself currently. So she just doesn't really know what's going on with these eyeballs.
Indeed.
So she's gonna walk to step into the circle.
Yeah, right up next to Lyra.
Yeah, just kind of tentatively. Is a god.
Yeah, you poked her before.
Yeah, oh yeah. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna poke her again with my sphere.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. As you reach down and touch the body of Lyra with the sphere in your hand, the runes are no longer distinct from each other and is now just a sphere of constant golden yellow light. As it touches her body, it seems to pulse and almost burst apart, the light splaying across her as if the brief flash of a small sun is in your hand and you have to shield your unblinking eyes from the light as it emanates across her form. Bungo, you notice this. You don't see Atala, you just see the sudden flash of very bright light that almost blinds you play out across Lyra herself, and the ritual's still going on, but you notice Lyra waking up. Her body begins to stir. You haven't finished your ritual yet. You know it's not finished. But this burst of light seems to have done something. And that sometimes delicate, sometimes powerful, but always joyous form of Lyra begins to wake, and at the same time the sun seems to crest the horizon in this field as the darkness begins to be dispelled by the light. She moves to a sitting position. She yawns an exaggerated yawn, stretching her arms above her head as if waking from a wonderful afternoon slumber. She doesn't say anything, but she turns to you. And you see a smile begin to break across her face. But as she opens her eyes, you notice something very different about her.
Oh god.
Her eyes wide, unblinking, pupils slitted, in a full yellow color. Two eyes of a snake, a serpent, stare back at you.
Great, gonna cast Detect Evil and Good.
Okay. You immediately reach for your symbol, clutch it, and the wave of awareness pushes out from you. There is no sense of good or evil around you. You can roll an insight check for me, please.
Ugh, wait, do I have lamp help? No, it says I don't.
Yeah, I think you used it in the same day. You struggle to understand exactly what's going on. The smile on Lyra's face is not intimidating. The eyes above it perhaps are in their strangeness, but the expression of her face itself is still soft, that same mirthful visage that you've seen before. She smiles at you, gets to her feet, goes to place a hand on your shoulder. Do you allow her?
Yeah.
Yeah. And as she places her hand on your shoulder, there is a wonderful feeling of warmth and comfort and joy, that wellspring of goodness and happiness that you felt so many times before as it washes through your body. And you look up at her and you feel yourself leaving this realm. Is there anything you'd wish to say to her as you are parting?
Fuck, that's hard. What would Bungo do? He would just say, wait, something isn't right.
As you say that, kind of instinctively hold up a hand, she looks kind of over her shoulder down at you, those same serpentine eyes still there, but a smile on her face. This strange mix of alien eyes, but familiar smile. And she laughs. A comforting laugh you've heard many times before, and she seems to be beginning to skip away from you, out into the field as you've seen so many times. The sun now rising properly into the sky. And your vision dissipates, and you seemingly awake in this cave. Atala crouched over you. Atala, at the same time as all this is happening, if there was anything you wanted to do, please let me know. But otherwise, you simply fade out and leave the scene just as Bungo has, and your eyes open as you see his eyelids fluttering awake.
Yeah, I think she just would have backed up a bit and just kept an eye on those eyes.
Okay. Yeah, as he awakes, the same old eyes that you've seen so many times.
You're awake, Bungo.
Sorry, dear. I didn't mean to worry you.
Oh, that's okay. I knew you would be fine.
Yes, something was wrong with Lyra. Not certain there still isn't. Something doesn't feel quite right.
I saw. I was able to enter your dream, Bungo. I saw Lyra. She was sleeping, and
You entered my what?
yeah.
How?
Something new? I'm not quite sure.
This is an awful lot to take in at once.
Indeed. Are you alright though, dear? You make sure you sit down.
Yes, sorry, I'm a bit flustered. Were we not travelling the road on the outskirts of the spine of the world, I would feel a need to return to a temple of sorts. Lyra's light is lit once more, but unfamiliar eyes watch over that garden. I need to rest. I need to rest.
You rest, yeah. I'll go make the bed.
Where are we?
Well, we're in a cave right now. Your friends managed to fend off against some purple interplanar creatures. I'm not sure what they were exactly. Bidooфs, probably.
Sorry, I'm a bit fuzzled.
Oh, you come sit down, dear. And she's gonna take him by the sort of shoulders and then the hand and make him sit down in a comfy position.
He follows her.
Yeah, with all your cold weather clothing and blankets and such, you can make quite a nice, comfy little space. It's a very nice little cave.
Yeah, and I think he would just fall asleep probably.
Yeah, exhausted. Cool. Is there anything anyone else would do during this time? Sandrell, you're sat outside. Your only company, the two dead bodies of these hulking lizard creatures.
She would give him a look over, just to see if she can find anything, useful, because she's a ranger.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Their claws look sharp, their fangs, very much so, though you've only got one set of fangs as Blam's nicked one of the heads. Like you saw with the Tala examining, the icy sort of lung or bladder-like organ deep in their throat looks to be interesting. Their scales are tough. You're more than welcome to try and harvest some bits and pieces if you wish.
Oh, she just doesn't want to carry too much. But
Fair.
no, she would just wait outside while everyone was convening inside to make sure none of these things stalking us appear.
Yeah, and with your vigil, you note that during the rest of the... Well, I'm assuming she's taking enough time to sleep.
What time of day was it?
Well, this
Middle
was...
of the night.
Yeah, only a couple of hours into the watch.
Oh shit! Yeah.
So I assume you don't want to stay watching all the way till morning, but you could trade
No.
out with Blam at some point.
Yeah, she would. She'd probably like after an hour. Well,
Yeah.
after an hour being without her resistance, she would go in.
Yes, yeah.
Hmm.
And Blam, I assume you're happy to trade out?
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Excellent.
Yeah,
Yep.
and the watch is complete. There is no other disturbance throughout the night. Dawn breaks on a new day. You can all complete a long rest, and Atala, you level up.
Oh, damn.
Mm-hmm.
Good. No more dying in one hit. But also, in the night, Atala would have been just like conflicted and a bit confused, and she would have tested the cube to see if it's still a cube.
Mm-hmm. Yep,
Yes.
you find a point where people are asleep, no one else is conscious around you. You reach for the cube, you take it out, and you would note only one difference to it. It's still its cube shape, but the side that had the symbol of Lyra carved into it, the symbol is still there, but now instead of it being a carving within the stone, it's now almost like what looks to be like a very old stain, like a blackened stain in the shape of the 3-star symbol of Lyra.
Fuck.
Kind of like a burn, but less muddied, whereas a burn has a lot of space around it at effect. This is very accurate, very specific. This very dark black symbol.
Cool. Yeah, that's all I wanted.
Okay, cool. Dawn breaks. You gather your things. There's enough rations with the Sunderstone expedition. supplies for no one to go without. Is there anything anyone would like to do? Or are you just heading back on the road, heading north towards the base camp?
Just heading north, right?
I think so.
Back on the road, you begin heading north. Most of the day passes, trundling along. But as you reach sort of mid to late afternoon, and the mountains now heavily looming above you, beginning to swallow the skyline, if you like, looming above, you see a collection of tents in the distance, different heights, different shapes, as you do now finally reach the end of this second day's worth of travel, the base camp at the bottom of Mount Archelon itself. So you can place your tokens
Ooh.
at the bottom here.
I think Bungo would have
A
been
circus tent.
a lot quieter than usual.
Mm-hmm.
And he just seems quite tired and out of it.
Yeah, absolutely. So the rest of you would certainly notice Bungo acting like that as the day wears on. But as you arrive, you see a number of different things. You see a variety of different tents. You see the red and white stripes, akin to a circus tent. You see a number of supplies strapped up on a wagon, what looks to be a seated area with a number of roughshod wooden tables and benches and chairs placed out in the snow. The place doesn't seem to be particularly well kept. Largely the trails in the snow are gravel that's been unearthed by people walking across it. There's some loose ropes giving some sense of boundary. What dominates the scene is a very large stone statue carving of a large dragon in the center. It's surrounded on all sides by built-up layers of what looks to be slate stone that has been laid to give it almost a mountainous or volcanic look. A dais, if you will, for the dragon statue itself to stand proudly atop of. The dragon itself is in a pose of noble bearing. All four of its limbs on the ground stood tall, its draconic snout raised high into the air. At its front feet and at the base of the slate dais itself, you see a number of animal skins, pelts, blankets laid out, and atop them what looks to be a number of different tributes, chests full of valuables, some much poorer than others, but plenty of glittering coin and gems as well. And kneeling there, surrounded by familiar faces, is Grace. In the rest of the space, because this is all well out in the open that you can see, you notice horses being fed and watered. There's a number of dark grey and white tents over on the left-hand side here. To the north, there seems to be, northwest even, there seems to be a little bit of hustle and bustle. Some patrons looking at what looks to be a number of stalls set up in a fenced area. And then to the northeast, there looks to be the only solid building here, a small guardhouse built from stone, with a number of armor-clad white dragonborn stood outside the guardhouse itself, and a low stone wall fencing in a gravel path heading off the northeast. What would any of you like to do?
What sort of time of
can
day
we-
is it?
It is a late afternoon, probably about 4 or 5.
Can we see or hear if there's other people inside of these tents, or did you say these were stalls up here? Whether or not there's anyone there?
There is a a low sort of murmur at this time of the day. Probably the most noise you would hear is from the stools over on this side. You'd hear voices, perhaps raised in bartering or conversation off the top. But you would also hear a number of voices coming from the, as you said, circus tent over on this side.
So it's more than just what we can see. More people.
Certainly, it seems like there's at least a few more people around. Yeah.
Mhm.
Is that sort of a donation box over there?
Seems to be a place for tributes to be collected.
Sandral would, because she's in awe of a big statue, she finds it cool. She would put in there the robe and the porcelain mask that she got off that dead guy.
Interesting. So Grace, you would see Sandrell doing this as she places the robe and mask into the chest. But yeah, without issue, you're not stopped or halted in any way.
She'd also throw in a platinum piece.
Oh, platinum piece for Platinum Dragon.
She throws it
Yep.
in and then looks up at the dragon.
Yeah, the statue is huge. You see it as
Very-
well carved, though not necessarily delicately so. I think probably from having been in Mirabar, you think perhaps it is of dwarven carving. But it is regal, it is proud and impressive in its stature.
Those like shopkeepers.
Where?
What? Really? Oh, my brain's just dying.
Alright.
What's this over here?
Yeah, as you've gotten a bit closer, you would notice that there's a number of figures behind what looks like a small fenced-off area with tables set up almost like shop fronts. Looks to be the makings of 3 distinct stalls there, with sellers stood behind them, a human woman, a gnomish man, and a dwarvish man further along, each in a different conversation with patrons. You see Ganxethal, a member of Grace's flock, in conversation with the human woman, and then 2 unremarkable dwarven patrons speaking to the other 2 stall keepers.
Look, it's Dwarf A and Dwarf B.
They're both Dwarf A, actually.
Are these guys? Are they? So you said this was a guardhouse. Do they look like they belong there, or do they look like guards?
They are notable in their bearing, very much like the statue itself. These figures, though clearly not made of stone, are stood stock still. They are stood to what looks like to attention. They're clad in plate armor. Each of them has a spear held with the base on the ground and the tip pointing skyward, perfectly vertical, and a large shield with the symbol that you'd certainly be familiar with, of Bahamut, the Platinum Dragon, the crest that you would recognize from your time spent with Jorek. Each of them is dressed very similarly, though there are differences, small differences between them.
Gray would probably just approach Grace then, and the others as well. Hey guys, it's good to see you. Glad you made it.
Sorry, Grace is having her milk intake through eating a cheese pizza. Yes.
There's pizza! Gray runs around looking for pizza.
Alas. Yes.
Sanya quiet for anyone else, or is it just me?
Yeah, she's super quiet.
Mm.
For once in my life. Friends, it is a pleasure to see you all safe at the base camp.
Only just. Suppose you ran into some purple nasties down there, did you?
would she have done? Probably not, right?
No, Grace, your journey north to base camp was uneventful and swift.
She'd probably just look confused then and say, "No, we encountered no bumps along the way."
Maybe we should have stuck with you then. Oh, we all made it. How's this place looking?
We are preparing. We
Guess
shall-
we should probably do the same.
Yes, we. Actually, Tom, when would we be setting off?
Well, Grace, you've been waiting for these guys
Okay.
to show up. You would have spent the night in these tents over to the right with your flock. I mean, you'd probably think it's not a great idea to begin your ascent in the dark.
No.
It's probably best to wait till the following morning. But yeah, there's plenty for you to fill them in on in terms of ascending the mountain.
Would you care to fill me in on the things she needs to fill them on?
I did. So yeah, this is as well. I don't know. Yeah, because what you said to me with how Grace would feel about it was that Grace would want them to prove themselves, right? But she would vouch for them.
Yeah, but that was with the thing that we talked about.
That's what I mean.
What?
Oh,
What's
God.
that have to do with anything? No, I know exactly what you're talking about. I just don't know what relevance that has to.
Well, if
And-
you're thinking about going up the mountain in the following morning, you probably want to tell them, right?
No, I was gonna wait until. I didn't think it was a thing that we would know. Oh no, of course it is, because she got up the mountain before. Yeah. No, she would. Oh God, leave me alone. Stop looking at me. I can see you in my mirror. It's weird. Every time you talk to me, you
So-
look at me.
Hear him in the distance.
Yeah, it's weird, isn't it? She would wait until they, because I assume this place where they have to, Grace has to vouch for them is kind of slightly further up the mountain, so she'd kind of wait to see.
It's
Oh.
literally right there.
Well, she'd wait to see if they prove themselves between there and there, then, Tom.
Okay.
I don't.
That is a way to go.
No,
Sure.
well, she's not going to say it in front of them and be like, "I'm going to lie about these guys being followers of Bahamut."
Okay.
Gray would probably then inconspicuously just have a wander around and see who's around, who's in here, if he can get a glance of all the tents, just to know who he's in the presence of.
So, in this one to the bottom left is Dwarf A, once more. Just seems to be someone looking after the horses, making sure the feed and the water is topped up and taken care of. Yeah, with Gray's ability to well, just roll a stealth check for me, please. The dragon is not heavily muscled here. Yeah,
Oh.
22. Yeah, without issue, you're not noticed. You are subtle as you walk around, and you manage to sort of poke your nose in, get a good feel for things. In these three tents here, there looks to be a number of dwarven figures. For what you would probably describe as, heavy-duty people, they're armed and armored. They look fairly surly. And then quite a well-to-do looking dwarf. Would Gray be kind of eavesdropping?
Only if he feels like he can get close enough without being spotted, basically.
Yeah.
But I mean, they're tents, so you could just be on like
Yeah.
one side of it, couldn't you?
Yeah. So with
Yeah,
you
like as he
pausing,
makes his way in.
pausing slightly to listen in, you'd quickly
Yeah,
discern,
just slowing down a little bit.
you'd quickly discern that this well-to-do dwarf is named Varda. which I don't know if Gray would recognize. I can't remember how much you guys learned in Mirabar.
I don't recognise
I
it, so
do
I'm going to say
recognise
Gray
that
does.
name.
Does Natalie recognize that name?
Oh god, I'm awake.
Natalie, the note keeper.
Varda.
Yes, sir, I did my homework, I promise.
I know. Oh, I know who that is.
God,
Yeah, but you know because of DMing before.
Oh, you also said it at some point when you went through the list of people, I think.
Okay.
But I'm not saying who it is.
Varda. I've got so many fucking notes that it's like...
Do you have them on paper or on the computer?
Paper, I'm just flicking through.
Oh, you crazy man.
It's not one of the submargins.
It's fine. Just knowing I've changed the nameplate for just the first name.
No,
So-
I can't see anything.
Yeah, you would identify this guy as being called Varda.
I'm sure his name's Tom.
And then up
Space
here,
and glasses.
Oh, he's a Sunderston.
hey, there we go.
I didn't make a note of it, but Varandet, Varda.
Yep,
They're probably fucking related.
good enough for me. So yeah, you see this very well-to-do, well-built, nose slightly in the air dwarf, sort of boasting and cajoling with this group of heavily muscled and armored guys he's got with him. Up here, you see Gangstau, you see 3 shopkeeps or stall keeps. You see a middle-aged woman, a gnomish man tinkering with various strange-looking clockwork devices. The middle-aged woman looks to be working with very fine-looking jewelry and little busts and sculpts in fine metals. And then at the top is an incredibly withered. Nope, that's the wrong word as well. Withered.
Wily.
No. He looks grumpy as shit. There we go.
Oh, that guy.
Dwarven guy sat in a chair, seemingly not standing up for his customer, and he looks to be surrounded by bits and pieces of gear, like mountaineering gear, equipment, and so on. And they're all in conversation.
Sorry.
I love that token so much.
That's a case of you found the token and then created the character based off that
Yeah.
token.
Yeah.
1,000,000%. As you head further around the circle, you'd see the 3 guards stood. As you are closer now, you'd notice that not only do they have the symbol of Bahamut on their shields, but on their fronts is a red tabard with the symbol of a white mountain on a red backdrop, which again from Jurek you'd know as the symbol of Clan Archelon. And in the guardhouse itself, with the stealth check you rolled, even with the guards right there, you sort of peer and you see there's not a window, there's no glass, but just an opening into the guardhouse. You'd see what looks to be an older, sort of grizzled, armored white dragonborn inside. Then, as you complete your circling and come back down to the southeast, as you poke your head in here, you'd see a number of dwarven patrons drinking. It looks to be like a tent set up with a bar inside, an improvised wooden bar made from an overturned cart, and behind it, fully lost in laughter with his patrons, looks to be a well engaged barkeep, another white dragonborn. And you just overhear them joking about going up the mountain and not coming down again. But they seem to be having a good time in there. And that's it for everyone here.
Are these guys just like guarding it? Are they standing to attention, or are they more standing around?
They are standing to attention. They look incredibly stoic. They're not like looking at the statue. Their faces are just stock forward. Very much think of your royal guards at Buckingham Palace and so on.
Sandral's gonna go up to this guy here.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, "Is that the way up the mountain?" and point at that.
Yeah, he'd look down at you, so he'd change his focus and say, "This is the permitted path up Mount Archelon."
So there's other ways to go up.
The mountain is large. There are dangerous routes without the blessing of the clan.
How long is it? The permitted route?
Sort of looks you up and down. Very cold. There. You seem young, strong. 3 days.
Is that where Kadra is? Kadra. She's just she like looks around.
As you say, Kadra, his nostrils flare, and there's like a flash of anger in his eyes, and his body now turns towards you, and his shoulders kind of square. Doesn't brandish the spear or anything, still holding it to his side and the shield. And just says very forcefully, Archelon Kadra is not here.
Not here as in down here, or not here as in up there?
What happens on the mountain, the monastery, is none of your business.
Right, that's fair enough. I mean, it's not really. But she did send us a letter, so I was just wondering where she was.
And the scales of his brow kind of furrow. A letter? Do you have it?
And she points over, I think, to Bungo. It's like, he has it. She called for our aid, or her brother's in danger, or something like that.
Frowns and looks over at Bungo. I see. Should you wish to show this supposed letter, I will allow you into the guardhouse.
I'm pretty sure they're gonna be wanting to go up, so maybe you should, expect it, I guess.
Only the faithful are permitted.
That makes sense. Thank you. She walks away.
Just kind of shakes himself and goes back to his previous position.
She walks up to Gray and it's like, I think if we want to go up that mountain, we got to show him the letter that we got.
Well, we each received one. I'm sure one of us still has it on us. He's sort of patting his pockets like,
Elodius kept it. He didn't give it to me.
Bungo's a nerd for these things. I'm sure he'll have a copy.
Yeah. They said only the faithful are allowed up, so they don't really know what they're going to do with us.
Well, I have faith we'll find Jorek, unless they don't.
I'm in a bunker. Yeah, she'd go relay all that information over to these guys as well.
Yeah, if Sandral came over, I think she'd noticed Bungo was looking quite glazed over, and I think Tom, over the course of travelling here, Bungo would have been maybe casting light or thaumaturgy, just to sort of test everything is working from Lyra.
Yeah, no, that makes total sense. And yeah, every time you go to cast your well-known cantrips and call on Lyra's grace, she's there.
Yeah, I think he, like, as Sandra approached, he was just sort of, at first it would be like almost like he didn't hear her, and then you'd be like, oh, sorry, Sandra, I was lost in thought. How can I help you, dear?
She'd just repeat herself.
Yeah, and then you'd say, well, I have my letter, should, when we are ready. I'm sure they'll, if I speak to them, I'm sure there'll be no problem in us travelling the path with, and he looks to Grace and says, oh, Grace, Grace.
Ah, yes, Mr. Goodbarrel. Can I help?
Yes, my companion Sandra, she spoke with the Dragonborn of Clan Archelon. They said only the faithful may travel. I assume that with our situation explained, that will not be of issue.
It depends on your dedication to the Platinum Dragon.
Well, I am dedicated to finding a friend of the Platinum Dragon. As are all of us.
Mr. Goodbarrel, you are lucky in approaching me. There are others who do not waver in their support of Bahamut, but you are lucky. I believe that anybody who upholds the values of Bahamut may as yet be spared and shown worthy of the Platinum Dragon. If I vouch for you and your friends to climb Mount Archelon, then I will take you as far as you take yourselves. I will guard you and show you the way, but the moment you prove yourself unworthy, I leave you there, and you can make your own way up or down.
I appreciate your frankness, Grace.
I'm curious as to how we would be unworthy. An example, maybe?
Hannah, don't ask me questions I'm not prepared for.
Sorry.
Any thoughts, Tom? Sorry,
Yeah,
Tom.
so
They shitting in someone's drink, probably. Probably.
a big part of Bahamut's portfolio is
Don't
justice.
poop on thy friends.
Shit not on my friends.
The first commandment of Lord Bahamut. Shit only on your enemies. Protecting the weak, justice, sort of fairness. Yeah, being honourable. So yeah, shitting on someone would be bad.
We do not shit on our friends on our bucks.
Not unless they ask.
No. Unless they pay us good sums of
Only with consent.
Unless they ask us first. We do not take part in golden showers on Mount Archelon. No, she would say, what would she say? How would she phrase it? As far as Bahamut is concerned, there is no I, there is only the team, the group as is. We do not fend for ourselves, we help the others in front of each other. Now, if I see any hint of selfishness in any of your behavior, be it in combat or otherwise, that to me would be a betrayal of the values of Bahamut.
I understand.
That sounds reasonable to me. I don't think you'd find that in any of us.
No, I believe you all to be worthy, but you never know with some people, they do surprise you.
Bungo nervously looks to Gray. No. No.
The
He's
DM
kind of like rubbing his neck.
nervously
Like,
looks at Gray.
Well, I think it is getting late. Can we rest, dear?
You go ahead, Bungo. I've just got a couple more questions for Grace here. It's mostly just about moving off.
Yes, I'm going to go to this conveniently placed tavern.
You are really testing me today.
I think that is for Tom, mostly.
Fire away.
Oh God, I'd say that and then I completely go blank with what I was about to say.
Should we do Bungo quickly?
Hmm.
So Bungo, you head up to the tent. It's not big. It's just as it's represented on the map. So 15 by 15 with a little bit to spare. It is set up so that it's not draping down immediately from the central poles. It's kind of braced out inside. So there's plenty of headspace. Inside you see this white dragonborn. He looks pretty well weathered, some scars on his face, missing scales, wearing a nice shirt and vest, sleeves rolled up, elbow resting on his elbow on the bar and laughing away and slapping one of these patrons on the back.
I think
you see a couple of other patrons in the room, but they've all got a drink in hand.
I think like Bungo. The way I think how I think of Bungo is like, I think like laughter and stuff like that with like Lear is like very calming to him. And he's definitely an extrovert, not an introvert. And I think like he kind of just goes and sits, like he just kind of goes sits on a stool or whatever's nearby and just kind of smiles and just kind of just kind of like like breathing in the atmosphere kind of thing.
Of course, yeah. Scattered around are a number of different boxes, small barrels, things like that have had a little blanket or scrap of cloth placed on the top as a makeshift chair. It's very improvised in here. There's gravel floor, but no snow. At least it feels a bit warmer, even just from the patron's own body heat inside. And yeah, as you breathe it in, it feels great. These people are just having fun. They're enjoying each other's company. I think it's a small space. You wouldn't go unnoticed. Before too long.
Oh yeah, he's not trying to keep like.
Yeah. The barkeep himself would call over and just say, "Ho there!
Good day, sir. I don't suppose you've got any honey pine dew this far north."
It's been a long time since I came across any honey pine. I guess I could put an order in with any of those going south, but at the moment it's just the mead, the wine, and my very own brew of ale.
Well, I'll try your very own brew of ale, sir.
Excellent. That's what I like to hear. Welcome to the Platinum Flagon. And he whips out a little wooden board. And shows you.
It's a great name, Tom, by the way.
Yeah, baby. Platinum Flagon. Journals.
Where did it go?
We don't have much here, but what we have, we deliver with smile and good cheer, good company. And he just sits down on a little box next to you.
Well, to be quite frank, that's exactly what I need right now.
Excellent. Well, you come to the right place. He drags out a flagon.
Your name,
Do
sir?
you prefer mead or ale or wine?
I'll have a mead, please.
Mead it is. The name's Archie, and yours?
Bungo Goodbarrel. A pleasure to meet you, Archie.
By name, and you? What brings you this far north, Bungo Goodbarrel?
Well, we look to climb all the way to Natalie looks at the name of the place. Monastery.
Rhinebreath Monastery.
Rhinebreath Monastery, yeah.
You'd see, you're quite an insightful person, Bungo, a sort of cloud passed over his good-natured features, but he quickly snaps out of it. Serious business then, I should have guessed. I can see from that little trinket around your neck that you're not solely devoted to the Great Platinum Dragon.
No, but a close friend, you might say.
That's good to hear. Stands for good things.
You seem like I have to say, your little establishment at this here base camp, it's quite a little monument to Lyra, I would say, in its own way. If you're familiar with the Joybringer.
I am, actually. Every now and then we get a traveler, and they say much the same. It's like a little pocket of joy.
Well,
yes,
glad to hear
I'm well aware of the contrast I have here with my comrades, stood so perfectly still. But I didn't want to move too far from home. But I appreciate the compliment.
Where do you hail from originally, Archie?
Well, where you're headed, up the mountain.
Oh, it is. Is it common for those of Clan Archelon to take up the life of bartending?
And you see some of the other patrons give like a knowing, slightly sad smile at that. Not so much, no. The clan's very... You're either in or you're out. And, well, had to give the name up. Had to give the place up. I'm very firmly out. But, no ill feelings after all these years. I've got it good here. I like my little pocket of joy, as you say, and they leave me well enough alone, and well, I guess I have to leave them well enough alone as well.
Well, I think you've got quite the place here, Archie. I know it's only small, but it's very helpful to a man in need of a little bit of faith right now.
There's lots of that coming up here. People seeking faith, connection with their deities. Usually the dragon, of course, but getting back in touch with that most dear to you is difficult at times in strange lands or strange situations.
Quite, I am all too familiar with that feeling, sadly.
Well, let this place be a balm to you then, and don't shirk the dragon either. You say you're a friend. He will look out for any of those in need. I know it's a little bit of a spectacle, the statue, but I've found some peace at times, sitting and thinking.
Yes,
Might be worth doing.
I may just do that. I think that might be a good way to have a bit of a nightcap, you might say.
Yeah, I think that's an excellent idea. But for now, please take in the joys of our little collective here. And he sort of introduce you to the other dwarves, and they start swapping stories with you, and rounds are bought in. They stoically refuse you paying for any drinks unless you completely insist.
Oh, Bungo always completely insists, as you
And
well
with your
know.
with your insistence, they'd give in with a smile eventually.
Yeah, you'll take off like, I don't know, 3 gold.
Yeah, absolutely fine. But yeah.
Bungo would ask at one point, he would say to Archie, he would say, I don't suppose you ever knew Jorek of Clan Archelon when you were upon the mountain?
I did. As a little wormling running around, sword in hand, striking down the monsters of the mountain in his mind.
Yeah.
He, yes, he was, well, perhaps a little lost in the clouds at times, but a good heart. I remember him jumping out and scaring a little snow rabbit at some point. The little thing must have been on its last legs anyway, because it saw Jorek leap out and gasped its last breath, lay down dead, and, well, he was inconsolable for a good 10 days or so. I often wondered what happened. Did you know him then?
Yes, we were close friends. He taught me a lot about faith and friendship, family.
That sounds like Jorek. Yes, I saw him come back through, head back up the mountain. He briefly stopped by, but,
Did he say anything to you? We, I hate to be frank with you, Archie, but Jorek has gone missing, and, well, we travel here to search, to help, his sister search for him.
Adra.
Yeah,
his features would fall a little bit at that.
A harsh woman,
She's
if I remember.
The cutting edge of a ice-cold axe. But always done in the best in the clan's interest, and never
Of
put
course.
her strength to nasty use. Had a lot of respect for her, if perhaps not the greatest interest in sharing a flagon. But if she's involved, that certainly means it's serious. I had assumed Jorek was simply going about life on the mountain. He hasn't come back down, at least not passing through here, to my knowledge. As for what he said, he briefly spoke to me of how he'd been on the Sword Coast. He didn't spend long here. He said he needed to head up to the monastery, but nothing of particular import. That he had business to deal, that he was looking forward to seeing everyone again. He seemed himself.
Well, that's good to hear. Hopefully it's some silly misunderstanding.
Hopefully. I'm not sure I've ever seen Kadra get caught up in a silly misunderstanding, but there's a first time for everything.
That there is, sir. Well, let's drink in his name, shall we? For Jorek?
Absolutely. To Jorek. Raise his flagon.
Yeah, Bungo would raise his as well.
Good. In the meantime, Atala, did you have questions?
Yeah, just the one in the chat.
Oh, let me have a look-see. Oh, these are for Grace. Grace would tell you that with your... She would see that your supplies from Sunstone Expeditions are absolutely fine to climb the mountain, though Grace would know about the grumpy old Bjarna Baghorn, who runs his little stall, the Grumpy Mountaineer, up in the top left here. that he would try and tell you that your gear's rubbish and he'd try and sell you stuff, but you're probably fine with the stuff you have for your expeditions. The stairs are wide enough to travel 2 abreast. I'm trying to think if anyone in the party would if you had Jorek with you, Jorek and Blam alongside each other might get a bit sketchy. And there is no like railing or anything. It's for many parts of the Platinum Stair, it's a sheer drop off the side of the stairs, so you may want to travel single file, but it can fit 2 abreast without super danger as long as you're sure-footed. Tying rope. Yes. Grace. Anya, Grace particularly cautious as a person?
Well, no, because she believes that if she dies, then Bahamut's gonna, like, I don't know, drink her into heaven or whatever. So probably not that much.
Yeah. So Grace probably wouldn't use the rope herself, but yeah, she'd say there's no like, there's no ruling against it or anything. It's certainly not a bad idea. You could absolutely tie yourselves to each other.
Oh, I will.
Especially because I don't think anyone's that heavily armored. Bungo's got his breastplate. Grace has some plate mail. So Grace is heavily armored, so she'd probably say she won't be tying herself to anyone in case she goes over and pulls everyone down with her, but...
Yeah.
But yeah.
How windy is it? Is it really windy? I don't think he needs to ask, but...
No, yeah, Grace would say that whilst the potential for being accosted by creatures is certainly scary, the real biggest threat going up the mountain making the ascent is the weather. If it's particularly bad, you may just have to stall out and take shelter, because it can get incredibly windy, easily enough to blow you off the side of the mountain.
Yep.
The weather can also generate snowfall, avalanches, rock slides. It can get stormy. You can have lightning storms. And in your exposed position on the side of the mountain, you can be struck. It's not unheard of.
If it's so steep, is it possible to be just like constantly using the ice picks to just pull yourself up on the stairs?
Yeah, a lot of the time. You certainly could. She'd say especially for you and Bungo. Anyone who's shorter, it's probably a very good idea.
Okay. Oh yeah, I think that's all I had really.
Cool. Yeah, absolutely. Grace has made this trip before. Excellent. Is there anything else anyone else wants to do?
Ashra could quickly peruse and see what these 3 seem to be selling. You said this guy was mountaineering stuff.
So in the corner is... Yeah, with Grace perusing, I'll just unlock them all for you. So you've got, in the top corner, you've got old Bjarna Baghorn, who is trying to sell his dwarven kindred a very old, battered-looking pickaxe. And you would see that he doesn't have like a little inventory or menu. He just has a big scrap of fabric across his desk, the little desks that they've set up there, that just says, "Nobody knows mountains better than me. Let me have a look at your gear. I'll let you know how long you've got before the peaks and crags take you." But you would see, mounted on the wall behind him, is a very detailed looking map of the local mountains. And yeah, Gray's got sharp eyes. You'd probably note that Mount Archelon itself is lacking a bit in detail, but that its closest neighbor, Eastfang, has a ton of like scribbled detail all over it, little arrows pointing to different points on the mountain. Lots and lots of detail behind them on the wall. In the middle, you'd overhear the conversation between The gnomish man, who you would hear is identified as Tunka, and his little stool, Tunka's trinkets. And he looks to be selling these little clockwork animals, and he's sort of demonstrating to the dwarven patron in front of him these wind-up animals like running or crawling across the table. He'd explain to the guy, and he'd have a little inventory map out for this. That he can work very quickly with making commissions. If you have a particular animal in mind, if you want it to have like a secret chamber inside the animal or have certain magical properties, he can make that for you. Seems to be an artificer.
If Gray was going to go to old Biana Baghorn, Tom, what would old Biana Baghorn sound like?
Old Biana Baghorn would...
Well, I may very well do, so...
Oh, okay.
Well,
Sorry.
we'll save that for the join.
I feel like this may bear quite some resemblance to Tom's least favourite voice.
That's my favourite voice.
Much
No, because he's a man. And then the final one is an elderly human woman, or like late middle-aged human woman. Seems quite disdainful, kind of the setting. She looks a bit put out, but she has a very she's made her little area of this fenced-off bit a little bit more fancy. There's little drapes and hangings and ornaments, and she seems to have named her stool the Faithful Filigree. And it has a number of handcrafted items, some rings, some busts, a pendant, and quite a fancy-looking little diorama with the mountain itself, Mount Archelon. And you would hear her introduce herself as Janine Curel.
Curel. Heard that name
Interesting
before.
choice of name, Tom. Oh
Janine?
my God, Jesus.
No, Curel.
I wasn't thinking of that, Janine. Curel, no, I don't think you've heard that name before.
Okay, so not so much of her.
She's related to Sven the Workman.
My useless son.
It's canon now.
So yeah, I think he would approach Grumpy Man and just straight up say, "How much for the map?"
For the map?
Mm.
Ooh, okay. Just straight up saying that.
Yep.
I can't do it now because I'm laughing. What would his voice be?
Just look at his face, don't channel it.
Pull that face.
Yeah, pull
like,
that
look at
face.
yourself.
Am I doing it right, Anya?
It costs you this much.
I really wish you guys could see what I could see right now.
The map, boy!
Honestly, I can only actually see Tom in the little mirror that I have, that I can see him behind me. It's like a fucking horror film.
Wait, I need to put glasses on.
It's like The Conjuring.
You're a madman! I can't do it.
You didn't hear that echo in the mountains.
That plus the face. Oh my god, I think I'm gonna cry.
Holy shit.
Oh, you're the best TM, Tom.
The map that I've made in all my years!
Stop fucking doing it!
Alright, I'll stop for Anya's sake. Yeah, he would tell you that and he wouldn't allow himself to be interrupted. He would tell you in no short terms that that map is made with his blood and sweat, and then he'd point to two different stains on it to show you where the blood and the sweat are in the map.
My blood and my sweat.
No better map than this map, boy.
Oh dear God.
And what like magical stuff does Grey wear outwardly, if anything? Because I know Grey's very sneaky.
Specifically magical.
Well, like if he's looking you up and down and being like, "What can I trade for my map?" Do you see anything fancy?
Oh, right. I see. He would see
I'm gonna grab my map.
the quiver. He would see.
Don't want no quiver.
That'd be tucked away. The boot.
Yeah,
He'd
probably
see,
not
yeah,
much.
an assortment of daggers on his belt.
Mm.
No. Anything else he does keep away, tucked away in a pocket.
Yeah.
But if it helps, I guess Grey will just start sort of flicking a platinum piece with his finger up in the air.
Yeah. The platinum piece would catch his eye. He'd ask you what you're gonna use it for. What
Well-
are you gonna use it for, boy?
There we go.
Mike Wazowski.
You really need to stop pulling that face. I've had a vision of us in like 40 years.
Fuck's sake.
Well, me and my comrades, we're planning on making our way up this mountain, so to be honest, once we make our way back down, you can have it back.
This one. He'd bring the map over and he'd point to Mount Archelon and be like,
Yeah, that should hopefully be where we're headed, but you never know what happens on the road, so it'd be really helpful to have a general idea of this area, because we're all very new here.
"Damn white lizard folk won't let me up the mountain."
Why do you need to go up there?
Well, I'm just saying. You're on your diet.
Yep.
I ain't got much on Archelon. Eastfang's where I've been. You can see it.
It's the fact that he can't do the voice without doing the face. It's really funny.
It helps me get into the character. So yeah, you'd see that his notes on Mount Archelon are really sparing. There is the bridge, White Wing Bridge, about 2/3 of the way up. So it's all very well sketched and everything, and it matches the kind of silhouette, the layout of the mountains you've seen walking up. But there's, I think, probably with old Bjarne Baghorn, he literally would have like scribbled at the top of Mount Archelon like Rhinebreath Monastery ? Hit like big circle near the top. Platinum Stair. It would probably start out, and there'd be sections where he's filled it in, probably from looking across the chasm from the other mountain, Eastfang. But the details are sparse. So that's what he's just trying to say to you, like, if you want this for going up Archelon, it's not that useful to you. But if you go into Eastfang at all, then this is the map you want.
Well, you never know where we're going to end up. We may very well end up there, and I'm just saying we could get taken off course, and the last thing you want to get is lost up in these mountains. I'm sure you've heard stories of that. But if you're interested, if we make our way up there, I can maybe make a few notes on here for you.
Do it.
I don't think you even need to roll a persuasion check. That's like the holy grail to him.
I'm just watching Tom
He'd-
intently.
I'm not doing it again. He'd raise an eyebrow and be like, "You serious?"
Fucking amazing.
Oh, I
That's
would
the
be
end of
when
it.
I stop laughing. Oh my god. Yeah. I'm always serious, my man.
Human. Human, huh?
Smell skin.
I knew you were gonna say fuck. I was just waiting for it. I was like, Stefan's gonna say it. It's fine.
All right. He goes and he rolls the map up, puts it into what looks to be a very weathered but very tough leather scroll case. Holds it kind of lovingly in his two arms, hugging it close to him. And he says, Stop. Anya's just watching me now. He says, I may be old, I may be dead by the time you come back, but if you don't fill in this map, I will haunt you to the end of time itself. On my ancestors, I make this oath.
I wish you guys could see this. I really wish you could. It's just a thing of beauty.
So he says that to you, and then he holds out the scroll case.
Yeah, that's brilliant. Thank you kindly, my good sir. I promise I'll return it as shortly as I can. And hopefully you'll still be in good health.
Kind of gives you a little squint, but a respectful nod. And goes back to arguing with the patron about how shit his gear is.
I'm just trying to remember. Have I seen anyone in my company with ink and quill? Point. I feel like I have. I can't remember.
100%. You've seen Atala.
The Sandra. I want Atala. Oh yeah, she was copying something, wasn't she?
Yes.
Yes, even better. All right. Then yeah, you'll give him a bow, and a salute, and make his way back.
Very good.
Could be useful.
Anything from anybody else?
I want to go talk to the mountain guys, but no, it's fine.
Aha! Grow with you, boy. Just grow.
Just grow.
Get bigger.
Part of
No.
that character was for you, Kieran. Just want you to know that. You were like, I want my crotchety dwarf, and I was like, I gotta do it for Kieran, boy. But yeah, anything from anybody else? There's 2 other shops. You can browse their goods if they're of any interest to you.
I was
Yeah.
desperately trying to think, do
No.
I want a little clockwork something or other?
They are very cool, very well made. All the ones in the current stock.
I was going to say, has he got any example?
Yeah. So it says current stock, and he has them around him. Some of them on the desk in front, some of them behind. The snail is really cool. It's got like a working little wheel inside of it, but it's built into it, so it just looks like it kind of slides along, like a little proper snail crawling along. And he'd show you that the snail itself, when you press the cog in the center of the shell, opens up. And there's like a little compartment inside where you can keep goodies or valuables or what have you. He's very enthusiastic as he tells you all of this, and is constantly poking you for like your thoughts on it and whether you think this would be better or that would be better. It seems like he's constantly on the lookout for ideas, and anytime he has one, he whips out this little pink notebook and just scribbles down his ideas into it. But there's the snail. There's a little squirrel that doesn't move along, but is built to look like it's holding like a little acorn, and its head like goes down and then goes up and down like a squirrel eating the acorn. Do you want to buy that one, Anya? Damn it. He'd show you the fox, which is significantly bigger. It's almost like a little, like an actual little fox or dog. And he'd show you that it's built to run, like it will run along, but that it stumbles. Like if you wind it up and let it go, it will only probably get a few feet before it kind of tumbles over. But it's very popular with the younger patrons that come by. That they don't get that many up here. His most popular piece is the dragon. It is built purposefully, though he'd be a little bit bashful about it, to look a little like the statue of Bahamut. In the middle here, and the only clockwork element of it is that it rears up on its back legs, like standing even taller, and it's weighted so that it can like stand on its base, and then the dragon stands right up. And it has a very, very, very small magical element where when it stands on its back legs, it puffs out like a little stream of harmless sparks into the air. And then finally, he would show you, because I imagine Grey being the inquisitive type, not to let an opportunity go, he'd show you a very small clockwork bird that you hold, like stands.
I've already got an idea, and you've just ticked one box.
It stands in the palm of your hand, and he'd say he originally built the bird to fly. He tried it magically, but the magic wouldn't hold, and so he actually tried it. Coral. He tried it mechanically, and he'd sort of briefly tell you, and then sort of chide himself for being boring. But he'd briefly tell you that flapping the normal bird's wings isn't ever really going to be effective in the metal form when it's not magical, because they don't have the mechanics of a normal bird with the like bones and feathers and what have you. But he said you can get it to fly mechanically like an insect's wings, with a very quick buzzing motion. And the way he does it, and he'd sort of hold it up and show it to you, is that the bird is modeled such that when it's activated, its wings spread out, and then there's very thin plates of metal. Anya's still dying. The very thin plates of metal kind of come up from the tops of the wings and buzz, like flap very quickly.
So like a hummingbird.
Kind of like a hummingbird, yeah, but the body of the wings still stay there. So you get this strange kind of image of like hummingbird wings fluttering, but the bird almost frozen in flight, in like a flying motion. But he said for some strange reason that he can't quite get his head around, and he's been working on it for a good month or so now, the mechanism keeps sticking, catching almost. So it goes to fly and then it stutters and stops. And for the life of him, he'd clean out the inside of it, he'd replace the cogs, he'd get it going, he'd try it in like a little clockwork insect version to see if the wing mechanism works itself, and it worked fine. So he can't understand what's wrong with it, but there's just something about this little bird that's kind of strange, kind of odd. So that's why he's put the price so low, because he doesn't think anyone's going to want to buy this little broken bird.
Grey would ask, these little, whatever you call them, machines, they don't have anything in terms of, they have like one specific function. They don't have any kind of intelligence, do they? They couldn't make decisions, or...
He would kind of smile, a big smile at that, and kind of praise you for your thoughts, and just say that it is within the realms of possibility to generate a small, like, companion creature, and that many other fellows of his discipline have done so. He hasn't himself. He used to, but he found it kind of morbid having one little thing that was intelligent and could run around, but then just being surrounded by like this almost graveyard-like assembly of figures that didn't have intelligence. But he'd say it's possible, but it would be attached to him. He couldn't provide you with one necessarily. But he'd be intrigued to know what you're thinking or what your suggestion might be.
Only thinking in these strange unknown lands where already things are popping out of nowhere. It'd be very useful if, even for a brief moment, if this adorable little bird could be, even encouraged, thrown into the air, and if for a brief moment it could just flap its wings, take a look around, point out any potential threats.
He would stroke his bearded chin, big smile on his face, take his notebook out, scribble something in it, flap through some pages, have a think, apologize to you, and then say that he thinks something like that could be done.
But bear in mind, we will be leaving early tomorrow, so you'll have only tonight.
He would kind of, puff himself up a little bit at that, his little gnomish form, and say his specialism is speed. That he can create these commissions very quickly. So that's not an issue at all, even with the more powerful magical elements. He would... Yeah, I think he'd say that actually sounds perfect. The bird does flap its wings very briefly. So thrown up into the air, it would be able to hold itself. He could enchant it so that it wouldn't suffer from falling back down again. And he'd ask you...
Oh, I'm a good catch, not to worry.
He'd smile. And he'd ask you for specifics, so you want it to identify any potential threats in the nearby area.
Yeah, essentially anything that isn't us, so even if it turned out to be a friendly, if it was just seemingly something that we weren't aware of, was either heading towards us, hiding nearby.
He'd ask, though he'd warn you, and this whole time he seemed like a really good-natured, upfront person that's just quite passionate about his work. He'd ask whether it would be of interest to you to have that mechanism of the scan almost, but if it would be of interest to have an alarm setting as well, so that if you needed, rather than throwing to give it a view, just leaving it on a perch nearby for it to sort of make a loud sound if something dangerous approaches.
Well, yeah, I mean, the little guy doesn't need to be making noise all the time, so if the only noise it made was as an alarm, something akin to birdsong would work fine.
Okay. Yeah, he'd say that can be done. With the nature of the magic being quite powerful, yeah, whistle would be fine. He'd say it probably cost you about 50 gold pieces.
Alright.
But that would cover everything, and he'd provide you with a small kit for maintenance with the bird, because he'd worry about it breaking and such. But yeah, 50 gold all told. He could absolutely have that ready for you the following morning.
Well, I mean, did you say the bird is already sort of in a bit sort of tattered shape? Is it already a little bit broken?
It's not that it looks broken, it looks beautiful. He's clearly polished it up to a wonderful sheen. It's like this, it's not particularly fancy, looks to be a steel or an iron, but polished up well. Has almost a silvery look to it. Quite a simple design of the bird, but very pretty. and elegant. But the brokenness to it, which he still doesn't fully make sure he's clear, he doesn't fully understand, is that despite all his best work and even magical elements, it seems like once it begins to fly, it kind of stutters and stops after maybe only a few seconds of flight. You may not even need the kit, he'd say to you, but he wouldn't be able to live with himself if he didn't provide you with one.
Well, you shouldn't need to worry too much. I should be able to hopefully sort out anything myself, and he'll get out. Yeah, he'll get out one of his arrows from his quiver, just kind of snap it in half. He'll kind of hold both halves in his hand and close his eyes, and just cast Mending on the arrow.
Ah, very good. Yeah, a big smile would break out across Hunker's face then, and he'd say, well, it'd be good to know that the little bird's in good hands, and with that I'd happily knock off 10 gold pieces from the price. We call it 40.
Well, we'll see what the results are like tomorrow then. 40 sounds great.
Alright. He gets started straight away.
What's he gonna call the little bird?
I know. Don't want to get too attached to it. Or do
Yes, you do. Trust me, I have experience.
I?
Naturally, you took all my money. I want the fox, and I want the squirrel, and I want the dragon.
Tyler just runs in, give me everything!
You can buy everything if you want.
I've got the money.
You can make a commission if you want as well. Commission your own animal choice. He's got a little table for it at the bottom of the inventory.
Some weird chimera of everything.
Yeah, you could order a
Bit of this and a bit
legendary
of that.
creature.
Oh my god.
Good old Tunker.
Mm.
His name's Briggs Tunker.
What does it mean by like defensive magic? What does that mean?
Huh?
What does defensive magic mean? What does that mean?
That's what he's working on with Grey's one is a good example. So like alarm or shield or protection from certain types of magic or energy. So if you wanted to make a little creature that had like once a day use, it could do absorb elements for you or cast protection from cold on you or something like that. He could do that.
Could be pretty useful.
Yeah.
Oh, I just found the menu. Oh, look at that snail. Oh.
Yeah. He has
Yeah.
lots on offer. He's a capable little artificer.
They do handheld though.
No one wants to buy the 4,000 platinum Bahamut bust with polished Luskan pearl filigree.
I fucking would love to, but I got no fucking money left. Spend it on spell materials.
Yep.
That is the story of my life, Natalie.
Yes.
Oh, I'd love to
Spend
be
it all
able
on
to buy
spell
food, but
materials.
unfortunately I bought too much expensive focaccia at work and too many gift cards, so what a shame.
Pearl materials.
I approve, dear.
I would like a squirrel.
That he's got in stock.
Yes.
I can't stop looking at
Excellent.
that picture of fucking Tom. Sorry.
It's so
It's so fucking funny.
Won't open on my webpage. Right, have we been stopping at 10:30?
I think so, yeah.
Yes. Okay. Well then, with that, unless there's any final questions anybody has or anything,
Would we be
Hannah, I
going...
will, and Steph, I will make both the bird and the squirrel as homebrew items.
Can I have it with defensive magic?
Yes. What defensive magic would you like?
Probably the protection from elemental stuff. Probably a good idea. It's cold.
Would you prefer? So you can have absorb elements, which, if you remember, is the reaction one. So just by having the squirrel on your person, you'd be able to cast absorb elements as a reaction once per day to give you resistance to one of the elements. Or would you prefer it to be a dedicated protection from cold, an hour's time spell? He could only have one on it, but he charged the same for either.
Absorb is probably quite good, but
Yeah.
it lasts as long as it lasts, you know.
It's literally just that reaction absorb elements. I think it's until
Yeah.
your next turn.
Okay. Yeah, that's fine. Absorb element.
Absorb elements. Awesome. So yeah, that would be 28 gold by putting the magic on the squirrel.
I'm gonna have to steal some from Bongo.
Would we be going to sleep, like, fairly soon, Tom?
Yes, with befriending Archie, who would tell you that in his things got a bit merrier and befriending you properly, Bungo. He would tell you that his real name is Archelon Archek, but that he's not allowed to use the Archelon name anymore, and so it goes by Archie.
Hold on, I get my notebook out.
And would other people join Bungo in the bar later on into the night?
Oh yeah, for sure. An evening.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably.
Okay. Then yeah, with the group kind of befriending Archie on into the night, and everyone sharing their stories and everything. Would people? Oh no, Bungo already has, so that answers that question. He would ask you, and he'd probably aim it at Bungo, but he'd certainly ask everyone first, especially now because Natalie's got her notebook out. If possible, if you're going up to Rhinebreath Monastery to check in with his younger sister, who would go by Archelon Trika, Trika. He doesn't have much to offer you, but if you can make it up to the mountain, to the monastery, he had, should still be there, a hidden stash of valuables up in the beams at the top of the bell tower in the main monastery building, that he never had a chance to reclaim as he was exiled.
Yeah, Bungo would, of course, agree.
Okay. Then, yeah, he'd be very grateful for that, and tell you that in that stash, which you're very welcome to keep, is a very powerful holy relic of Bahamut, a scimitar by the name of the Platinum Claw.
How was her name spelled again?
Passed down to him. The Claw. Trika. Trika.
Where did he say this stash was?
The top of the bell tower. The beams at the top of the bell tower. The main monastery building.
Okay. Thank you.
She would be Archelon as well, right?
Yeah, Archelon Trika is what she'd go by. You'd all know, maybe not Sandrel, maybe Sandrel, you'd all know from travelling with Jorek that within the clan, unless you're deemed a close friend and given permission, you're only meant to address them as Archelon. That's why when Sandrel was like, Kadra said this, the guy was like twitching.
Oh, I see.
Who the fuck are you calling her Kadra? But also, yeah, Sandrel's got the like fresh-faced young person look, so it's just like, ugh.
I think before... sorry, I know we're running late.
Not at all.
But I think before Bungo goes to bed, he would sort of sit in his tent, sort of quite privately, like I think even slightly away from Atala, and would he would bring out the staff and like looking over the symbols of Lyra that burnt into it almost over 5 years ago now.
Mhm.
And in the snow upon the ground, he would take the staff and he would draw an eye in it. And then with the eye, he would surround it with flowers.
No.
Yeah, you do so. And there's a moment of peace and connection with your deity.
That's all.
I love it. Okay. Well, with that, we'll say if there's anyone thinks of anything they want to do, we can always go back and do it. But we'll say that you bed down for the night. This camp is watched over by Clan Archelon guards as well, so you can rest easy. And the sun sets and night falls, and after a boisterous evening swapping stories with Archie, you fall asleep. Whether that sleep is restful, unbroken, we'll have to wait till next session to see.
Of course it will be.
He said it now, it's gonna be.
But yeah, we'll end the session here for today.
Oh, thank you, Tom.
That's
You guys.
Guys.
Excellent session.
Thanks, Tom.
Thanks.
What session was that? Was it 6?
Something like that.
It's
6 or
YouTube.
7, I think, yeah.
It
Thank you.
was session
Pack
6.
up lung laughing.
You're welcome. Not even on the bloody mountain yet. Jeez.
No, it's called the Cold Mountain. We can't even get there. Shit.
Derek died ages ago. 2 days ago. You guys are late. We'll see. I've been trying to leave lots of little things and threads for different people to tug on.
Curse of Strahda's put me on edge. I'm worried about any kind of mountains.
yeah.
So true. I'm very aware of that.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah. Every interaction, you're just like, yeah, are you for real?
Fuck you, Casimir.
Yes.
This is what you did to me.
God.
Oh, it's too funny. Oh,
Blam took his first trophy.
I love Blam.
Of how many?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I like in that fight, it was like Sandral, Grey, and Atala like, oh my god, we're gonna die, and Blam's just like, and dead. It's like, where's my next opponent?
Chop, chop, dig, dig, chop, chop. He wasn't even full power either.
No,
I love
no.
that.
No.
I love
No.
that George is just doing the like steady Blam. Just like, hold, hold. Every time I'm just like, is he gonna reckless Grey Weapon Master?
It's still George's.
Nope.
I think it's still George's best character, Blam.
I love Blam so much.
He's so great.
I just want Blam t-shirts and Blam posters and Blam
Yes.
memorabilia of all varieties.
Varieties.
Same.
Blam always weathers the storm. Right. Well, with that then, thank you all. We
Thank
are
you,
on next
Tom.
week. It's not a week off.
I will be
Yeah.
here.
Wait, but it's my birthday. We are off because it's.
Oh shit! Of course. Yeah.
Sorry, guys.
Not at
Oh,
all. Well,
snap.
with that then, we'll just treat your birthday this coming week as the week off then, and
Okay.
we'll be back on the following week.
Either that or we can do it on the Saturday if that suits people.
I
Don't
can't,
mind,
but I can do the Monday.
I cannot do the Monday, I'm afraid. To retrieve my mother from the Netherlands.
Ooh.
Oh.
Well, if we just
I think I've got.
if we just do
I think I've got
2
Tugby
weeks
on the
after that.
Saturday.
Yeah, we'll treat that as the week off if that's all right with people.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry, everybody.
I haven't played Tugby in ages, so I've got to play, you know.
So this coming week off, we'll have another break, and then the following week we'll be back on for 2 weeks.
Oh, I'm so sad.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. You're allowed to turn 22. I'm just
Yeah,
gonna.
nice.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll take that very flattering,
Yes.
obviously flattering guess, but thanks. Yes, I'm turning 22. Tom's turning 31. It's a match made in school heaven.
I'm a cradle robber. Yeah.
There's nothing. There's nothing weird about it.
Age is just a number, Nally.
He's not a paedophile.
His name's just Peter File.
Who's a paedophile?
All you know is it.
Oh, that. Thank you, Tom. That was a
See
really
you
good
later.
session.
Thank you. I'm really glad. Bye 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 bye.
Bye bye.
Good night.